Hi, this is Chris Day, Managing Editor of the Florence Morning News and scnow.com. I recently sat down with City Manager Randy Osterman to talk about the City of Florence's projects and programs for 2023. Let's take a look at that interview. We'll get started with what we were just talking about, the stormwater master plan and everything. I know that we're getting started on that process, but you know, in the press release, there was going to be like 4 public meetings to get public input on that. So
that's correct. So we've hired AECOM Engineering Group to follow up on the stormwater projects that City Council authorized in the 2021 budget cycle when the stormwater fee was increased 50 cents. And AECOM has conducted their initial review of the multiple projects, 10 projects or so, and have created recommendations for both cleaning and point repair, as well as replacement of the systems where they need to be replaced. So all of them, based on complexity, was looked at, and for lack of a better term, the 3 or 4 easiest or simplest projects were selected to go ahead and begin, while the more complex projects were still being engineered and designed and worked through. Simply that allows us to not wait for the design of all the systems, but start doing some actual work while these others are being designed and developed and coordinated.
Okay. And now you're the design and development and stuff, that'll continue on into 2023, and then
it will carry on in 2023 and maybe even beyond. Some of the areas we need to obtain right of ways in order to get in and do the repairs. These systems were built prior to the time where right of ways were obtained, or they were designed as private systems and then was incorporated into the city's inventory over time. And so there's some areas where we'll have to obtain right-of-way permissions in order to even go in and do the work. We can do the preliminary camera work, design work, but at some point there'll be places where we'll have to go on people's property in order to make the repairs, and until those easements are secured, we don't have that ability. Some projects like Pennsylvania Avenue project, that's a relatively large project, and it encompasses a very large area, and it requires some complex design work. So there's the AECOM group has people out there today, engineering, surveying. So it's not like work's not happening, it's just digging's not happening.
Okay. All right. And anything else about the stormwater?
No, but running concurrent with the specific projects that were authorized by council, there is a stormwater master plan being conducted at the same time. This is more where those public meetings will come into play. So we know about these 10 or so projects that have authorized. We know there's problem areas there. These public hearings, public meetings are more geared towards the master plan, as to maybe there's areas out there we don't know are issues. And so the stormwater plan, it's a 3-year plan. It will better identify all the areas in the city that have issues, and that allows us, or will allow us, to then plan for those future improvements.
will most of the public hearing or meetings be held like in the first quarter of the 2023, or is it going to be spread out? Or have you guys decided?
I don't have a
Okay.
hard answer for that. Most of them I'm going to assume will be held in 2023, but I can't tell you whether it's first quarter or spread out over.
Okay. Any big projects in water treatment or anything like that that need to be done? I know like the Darlington Street pump went down last year, and that was supposed to have been
Right.
fixed, but
Well, currently we're having a review of all of our groundwater plants conducted by an outside engineering group to ensure that everything is working as it should, to assist us in developing a repair and replacement time schedule. And we're currently working with several engineering groups to look at the long-term needs of the city. And I believe that will lead towards some major investment in both our surface water plant and our wastewater treatment facility. One of the things that the city's always done is we've been able to ensure that we have capacity for the future, and we want to make sure that we continue to have capacity for the future. So these studies and proposals to upgrade both surface water, the groundwater system, and the wastewater facility will help us ensure that we have capacity for future, for residents, for economic development, for whatever may come.
studies and stuff that are going on that, do you expect that to take a while to get done, and or is there a time frame set up?
Well, they're all a little different. Both of the surface water plant and the wastewater treatment plant were designed with the potential to expand. So the studies now, or the designs now, are to determine to what level those expansions need to be made, to what capacity they need to be made. So I think we'll see at least some initial concepts and cost figures probably the first of the year.
Okay. And then the groundwater plants, that's maybe a different time frame, because they weren't really designed for expansion.
Well, they weren't, and it's not expansion that we're looking at for the groundwater plants. It's just to ensure that they are capable of continuing to supply what needs to be supplied from them way into the future. So they're not being looked at from an expansion concept. They're being looked at simply from operational, and to ensure that everything we're doing will be able to keep them online for as long as we need them.
Water storage and things like that, is that part of the study, or I know you have to have routine maintenance on the water.
Sure. Now,
and stuff,
when you say water storage, I'm assuming you're talking about elevated tanks.
Elevated tanks.
Our elevated tanks are on a reconditioned cycle. So that is already planned into our long-term capital improvement plan. We do 1 or 2 elevated tanks a year, and so that will just continue.
Okay.
Now the changes will be made when and if additional tanks are added to the system.
Okay. I guess we can maybe look at the downtown revitalization. I know we've got Unity Square going on.
Urban Square.
Urban Square, sorry.
Urban Square. In fact, if you look over there right now, we have some demo work going on.
Okay.
They're demoing a building on McQueen Street, right behind us here. We have identified a contractor for the parking garage that the city will build on the site. We have received plans for the apartment complex from the developer. Those are currently being reviewed, and hopefully we'll see some dirt being moved, some grading and whatnot being moved first quarter of 2023. we've run into the developers run into, everybody's run into, supply chain issues and whatnot. We've been told, we could have a lag on concrete delivery and whatnot. So, our goal right now is to get moving, do grading, do all the prep work that we can, and then phase in the construction aspects of it.
Okay. And then other parts of downtown, I think you guys were talking about doing something with the old movie theater and things like that downtown.
There is a project involving the movie theater to turn it into a venue site. Unfortunately, original estimates on the costs associated with that have, like everything else, have gone up drastically. So we've had to take a step back, look at what funding is available, and try to determine to what level the project can be completed. The project may be scaled back just a little bit, but at the end of the day, we hope to have that movie theater as an event venue space. I don't really have a time frame that I can give you right now, though.
Is there any other plans for downtown Florence that may come to fruition next year?
Well, we the Nofel building on Evans Street, through a conditional grant. There's a developer who has history of revitalizing buildings just like that. That has been identified, or that individual has been identified, and hopefully, I keep saying hopefully, but if everything moves as planned, or at least close to plan, we should see activity in that building probably maybe second quarter of next year.
What about the streets and roads in Florence? You got any major or big reconditioning plans or anything for
Well,
those?
yeah, and that's going on. The citizens passed the third 1 penny sales tax, and that allocated about $40 million to the city. We have begun to resurface roads throughout the city. We have a plan to resurface roads, a list of roads throughout the city that's ongoing. Like everything else, there's a limited number of companies that will do road work, and there's always asphalt issues or whatnot. We are attempting, there's several different approaches to the roads, and it depends on the shape of the roads that they are in now. Some roads simply need a simple overlay of asphalt, right? Just what you're commonly known as your repaving. There are some that are beyond the repaving concept. They require more, for lack of a better term, full surface replacement. So you'll come in, grind the existing asphalt, bring it down basically to dirt, and you rebuild a road. Well, obviously those take longer than the simple overlay. So just like stormwater, based on complexity, some of the easier projects have begun, while others are designed and plans developed to do those more in depth.
Any other big projects that the city is considering for 2023?
No, hopefully the sports complex wraps up at the end of this year, or at the latest, February of next year, and then we will be going through our budget process and working with council to determine future needs. There's a lot of it's not exciting, but the stormwater and underground work is extremely important to keep the city moving. The other thing we hope to be providing, and that's housing for maybe new residents to the area as we work through our neighborhood redevelopment, revitalization strategies and the like.
Okay, well, talk a little bit about those. I know that we've done some demolition of some housing that was
Right.
That was
unsavable. So yeah, our city council authorized $500,000 to demo some of the abandoned and blighted homes or home sites in the city. That currently is ongoing. We're doing about 4 or 5 at a time. Each one so far has been a voluntary request. The homeowner or the property owner has requested assistance with tearing down the home, based on that property owner's income range. Maybe a lien is tied to it, but we've probably done 10 or 15 to date. Don't hold me to that number, but somewhere in that ballpark.
Sure.
We will continue to do these. Each one has to be reviewed to make sure that there's a clear title, that the person requesting is the correct person. To make we have to make sure all the legal items are taken care of. But that's ongoing. We work with builders and developers to attempt to build new homes for ownership, specifically in our catalytic areas, the historic West Florence area, the North Florence, East Florence area, and we are part of our redevelopment revitalization strategy is to remove the blighted and to assist through down payment assistance or closing cost assistance to encourage home ownership in those catalytic areas.
This has been Chris Day reporting for the Florence Morning News and scnow.com. Thank you for watching.